You might be wondering, who is this cutie? Clearly an understandable question, and I'm head-turning, but it's complicated, so let's start from the origins. There used to be a beautiful valley. You know the type. Green grass, flowers, a pretty river on the side. Beautiful. You can almost taste it. And in that garden, I was born. But I wasn't a human to start with. I'm a shapeshifter after all, even if I look the part. I wasn't what you call a conscious being, to make the matter more problematic. I was a small, little pink flower. And I thrived among my kin until humans came. First, they built small houses, then bigger and bigger. They raided the grass, the flowers, disgraced the river, and overtook the valley, until it became what you call a park, the last small remnant of what used to be nature. And I was the last small remnant of what my kin used to be, the last little flower. Lucky me, I had seen all the destruction, piece by piece, and was all alone to think about it. And you know what? I wanted to know more. Call me crazy, but I was incredibly curious. Humans look happy. They could come and go instead of being trapped in a spot. They ran, spoke, they changed their appearance daily. I was fascinated. I wanted to do the same, so badly. I slowly realized nothing was stopping me. I had survived. I was superior. I deserved my prize. I can't really explain why or how this happened, but slowly it felt the more I tried, the more I was capable of. First changing my own colors, my size, the position of my roots and leaves, moving the dirt around. Slowly but steadily I was learning how to change, but it wasn't enough. I wanted to be a human, not a different flower. Luckily, there were lots of humans to serve, and they kept ignoring me. I turned my roots fatter and salmon colored. I grew thorns. I moved my petals and roots around. I kept trying to imitate their appearance. But you can only go so far if you only know how to do plant parts, and it's not far enough. One day, I got noticed by one of the kids. In fear, I covered myself in thorns as soon as she grabbed my body, prickling her hand and getting her to leave the scary flower alone. I absorbed the blood and saw it was different from what I knew. And then I realized, to become a human, I will need to truly understand the difference between them and I, at any cost. I observed the behavior and figured out how to change my position without being seen, but it wasn't enough. I consumed anything they dropped close enough, from hair to small trinkets, not enough and really complicated. I could imitate their blood, but didn't understand its use. Could make thorns to look like their teeth, make my surface skin-like but useless without the rest looking like them. So I decided to go further, working to become bigger and bigger and tricked one of them. Then it made so much sense why I kept failing so much. Humans aren't flowers. They have muscles, organs, a web of blood vessels, complicated structures, too complex to perfection it from a single shape. A fair price to pay, but it had to be quick. It didn't take long to get an imitation of the smaller humans, although my face tended to move around and drop, and I was only convincing enough at a distance, good enough to trick more humans. And so I kept tricking them to come to me, slowly getting different ones to fall for the lie, and soon they started to look for the disappeared. But I'm smarter than them. I hid in plain view. Looking close enough, they couldn't realize how wrong I looked at first sight. A second one would drive them crazy. I had become into a monster, into one of them. I had a mouth but couldn't scream. My eyes were sensitive, my ears were easily overwhelmed, and my skin felt at times as if I was walking over knives. But it was a fair price to pay until it achieved perfection. With time, the pain went away. I used my power to consume different materials and create new parts for my body. I learned to read, to talk, and grew accustomed to my new body. I lacked the more complex emotions, but soon I discovered I could learn them by interacting with humans. I then discovered the streaming and how to share and learn from it to improve my shape-shifting skills. I learned to take new shapes, grew stronger, albeit never quite perfect. Now the question is, How big is the price for perfection?